You know how I know you're a fat fuck, Steven?
I'm eating mini wheats on the podcast.
Yeah, you're fucking just chewing in the fucking microphone.
Oh, well, you do it every time we play the fucking game.
That might be it.
Every time we're playing the game and I hear Ryan on his shitty ass PlayStation mic, it's like, I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? And he just starts giggling. So I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or he just knows.
No, I was in a game with some randos today, and the guy's like, "Hey, can you move your mic away from your mouth?"
Yeah, dude.
And then I realized the mic can be bent away from my mouth, so you can hear me breathing.
And I was like, Ryan, I can hear you fucking breathing, dude. And he's like, sorry for being alive.
Anyway, let's get started.
Fine. Yeah, we have freedom to do.
Welcome to the point. Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 37 of the CoinOp Cowboys. We are the greatest entertainment in the world, guaranteed, or your money back. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to say hello to everyone. And we're going to go in the perfect order. And of course, it's the perfect order. Don't even question it. How dare you? How fucking dare you? Okay. And once we follow that order, the person that I call their name, once I say your name, you say hello, and then you answer the question. Before we do that, I just want to remind you, kindly like, subscribe, and follow. Leave a comment answering along with the boys. Pick your favorite answer. We'll pick our favorite answer, and you'll get a prize DVD. So you can also send emails at coinopcowboyspod@gmail.com. We love reading and reacting to those, so send them on over. And we actually have to read some tonight.
Awesome. Excited.
They haven't been banned yet. And so that question for tonight is this. Gentlemen, would you rather live on a beach, in the desert, or in the snow? And why? Where would you live for the rest of your life? And the first person in the perfect order is Chris.
What up, CoinOpians? Got Cowboy Chris here. Great episode we're getting ready to get into. Now, see, this is a little bit of a trick question because, see, I did grow up in the desert, and I recall what it's like. I'm going to start off with what I would not do, and that would be the snow. I don't know if it's because we have that Southern California life. I've just seen people have to shovel their driveways. I don't snowboard. I don't ski. Snow is somewhere I go on vacation and come back. So it's definitely not going to be snow. I couldn't live in the snow all the time. Now, the desert, I would highly consider because the weather's fairly consistent, but it's really quiet, super quiet. But most likely, I'd probably pick the beach because I think they would give me a variety of things. You got the water, you got the shade, you got the trees, you got the animals, got a little bit of everything. So that's what I would go with. And from a survival point of view, I feel like the beach is the easier one. The desert, you need to figure out how to find water. On a beach, more or less, everything you need you can find on the beach. You'll be fine. So that's what I would do, and it'd be great.
Thank you, Chris, for your answer. Next up in the perfect order, Ryan.
Hey, Cowboys or CoinOpians.
Mic check.
It's Ryan.
Yeah, are you quiet?
You're
Ryan.
extra quiet.
You're really quiet, dude.
Hi.
Crank the gain, dude.
Hi.
Are you on the N? N and gain?
Is that better?
Yeah, that sounds great.
A little bit.
Is that better?
I still think you're quiet.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hello, CoinOpians. It's your cowboy, Ryan. Not your favorite cowboy, that's been made clear. I would like to live on the beach because the weather's nice and the sound of the waves would be great white noise as I go to sleep every night in my sadness.
Hey, Cowboy Ryan.
Yes.
Do you happen to get seasick?
No, I'm not a little bitch.
Oh.
Have you ever been seasick at all? No.
No.
Have you ever been out on a fishing boat?
I'm not a bitch. I have.
Okay. All right. I feel like if I go out on a fishing boat or a more serious boat instead of just going across the bay, I feel like I get seasick. But have you ever had that thing where you're out on the river or out on the beach all day in the waves, and then when you get back on shore, you still feel like you're in the waves?
No, I never had that. No.
I feel that sometimes.
Yeah.
Who gets sick? Who gets seasick? I don't get it.
I do.
Probably Steven.
Nope, never been seasick in my life. I come from a long line of sailors, so it's in my blood.
That makes sense.
I come from a long line of farmers, so
Jeez.
seasickness is seasickness and not skiing. Those two just go together.
Yeah, my people are really good at swimming on their back. Anyway,
they're freestyle, man.
I don't know what I was going with that. Next up in the perfect order is Steven.
Oh, howdy, cow turds. Let's kick up some dust and buck fuck this Bronco. Time to get on my rodeo. Let's answer this question. Horrible question, by the way. One of the worst questions I've ever heard. See, well, what Angel didn't tell you.
How did that go? Can you say that one more time? The worst?
The worst.
One of the worst. No,
one of the
okay,
worst.
never mind.
Yes. One of the worst. What Angel didn't tell you is the beach is actually a swampy shithole in the Everglades. It's not a nice Newport beach. So you guys are fucked. The desert is Las Vegas. That's where I'm living. And the snow is Aspen, Colorado. Good second choice. So fuck the beach and fuck this question.
Very good. Thank you, Stephen. Always, as always,
You didn't say where the beach was. It could be any beach. You just said, could we pick the beach?
The beach, dude. Fucking think of a beach. And what's the Everglades? I got to Google this shit.
Dude, Angel totally was visualizing like Kanapali, Maui or something
Dude,
like
he should
that.
have fucking said
Maui.
that. He should be a little more
Malibu,
specific.
Malibu.
I can't just pick a beach. I mean, it could
Would
get...
you rather live?
There's beaches in Iceland.
Yeah, there's beaches in Antarctica.
Ew, dude.
There's snowy beaches, bitch.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Malibu, the Gobi Desert, or Mount Everest.
Can I afford to live in the Malibu
You know
beach?
what? No, Sweden, where it's you can afford it.
Okay, all these.
You can afford it.
You know what? I recently flew over Sweden or Switzerland. I don't know. One of those. It looked like a pretty cool place to live. Not gonna lie, it looked pretty dope. I don't know if it's snowy all the time.
Why do you like Switzerland?
I mean,
Because you fucking flew over it?
No, I stopped. We flew. We laid over in there, but you can see it. You can see all the Alps and stuff as you take off, and it's just beautiful. And you see all these little like towns. And I've seen enough documentaries on Netflix to know that all those little towns tucked in the mountains and stuff are pretty dope.
Okay.
You untraveled cucks.
Was it a magical moment when you saw them, Steven?
It was pretty cool.
What felt warm inside?
Don't get dirty.
No, very good. I'll round it out. I'm going to say the desert because I love the desert. It's nice and dry. It also has sand without that water that houses terrifying fish and sea monsters and pirates and sailors.
I don't think deserts have nearly as many bugs as well.
Right?
I mean, there's definitely bugs in the desert.
Biggest one, dude.
It's drastically
But they have
less.
cicadas.
No, they're in like farmland, right?
Yeah.
Palm Springs was like loaded with them.
Yeah, the low desert Palm Springs loaded with cicadas. Yucca Valley, 0.
I thoroughly enjoyed being up in the high desert in Joshua Tree.
Is it an elevation thing with the cicadas?
Probably, huh?
Because it's a high desert, right? It means it's elevated.
3,000 feet.
Does that mean that Death Valley has as many cicadas as like in the world?
No, when I was in Kansas City, Kansas, I think, by far the most cicadas I ever heard in my life. I couldn't even hear the Mustang car drive by because the cicadas were so powerful.
Wow. I've never seen a cicada or heard one. Ryan, have you heard a cicada before?
Of course.
And I'm not talking about Animal Crossing.
What fucking world do you live in where you haven't heard a cicada?
Well,
I live
wasn't the
in
last
Southern California.
wasn't the last podcast about a cicada?
It was.
Oh, the SCP 2852, yes.
Oh, that was you. Yeah.
That was me.
That was Angel reading a webpage.
Fuck off, dude.
Fan fiction.
Whoa. Fictitious fan page. Get it right.
It's not. It's very real. It's very real, and I have another one for tonight that I. actually
God
believe
damn
is
it!
real. I have another one that I think is real. I swear.
The whole concept of the website is that it's fake.
No, dude, it's real. They're trying to call it fake news. That's the socialist left media.
Anyway, do as you please, Angel. Do as you please.
I'm really excited about this one.
Are you?
I really am. All right. Thank you all for your answers. Fun stuff. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Emails.
I'm excited for the emails. They're always really good.
This one's from Matt. Only because it was really long.
Fucking Matt.
Another one, but I feel like it takes priority. All right. Can I make this shorter so I don't read across the page? Yes. Okay. This is from Matt on episode 35. It's a long one. Thanks for dropping all those laughs, even though it's a week late, as promised by the most perfect order guarantee man, Angel. I guess Angel can only guarantee orders and 10-second orgasms. It's true.
It's a long orgasm. Is it?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
10 seconds to orgasm. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, man, I'm fucking with my hands, dude. I'm a fucking wizard. All right. Not sure what is going on in the cowboy camp, but the quality of our guest of recent, a.k.a. Mike, has really degraded the show quality. His cameo sound quality reminds me of the teacher speaking in Charlie Brown's Peanuts, and he added a YouTube link of the
Nice added detail, as if nobody knows what the fucking sound is. Refresh your memory if you don't remember all.
How does it go? Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. Curious if the man is still breathing air after the embarrassing loss.
Oh, God.
The question about life spends on big purchases. If you recall, we were talking to Mike about big spend purchases and our partners. And this is what Matt has to say. I will say this. Every day an Amazon package is delivered to my house. Every fucking day I pick it up and hand it to my wife, as they are always addressed to her. Sometimes it's a much needed gold plated soap dish that goes oh so perfectly with a gold trim themed bathroom. Most of the time it is clothes, jewelry, shoes, makeup, and a sprinkle of baby shit.
Ew, baby
I would argue,
poop.
oh, dude, it's imported. I would argue the hundreds of small package purchases would equate to my once in a while big time purchase. To go to an NFL Cowboys Super Bowl sounds awesome, but to spend $5,000 on just seats seems too much. I would have to sell my ass to pay for that and wouldn't want the inevitable double up purchase as Cowboy Chris has in his life. I echo Cowboy Steve of being content with a bunch of fans watching the game together. If only I had friends that were also NFL Cowboy fans. That would be true nirvana.
Keep dreaming, Cowboy. That's the wrong Cowboys. This is the right Cowboys. That's the wrong.
Now he has the bone to pick with all the Cowboys.
All of them?
Yep.
Round up.
This is actually a really good one. How is the Niners fan Mike the biggest fan of the Cowboys? Did I miss the voting episode claiming this? Cowboy Ryan, Steve, Chris, do you guys believe in democracy? Don't make me hell dive on your ass and fight for a democratic approach.
What is it? Yeah. What is the complaint that he has that we're not Cowboys? What, that we voted Cowboys?
No, who voted Mike the biggest fan?
Nobody did. He's self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed. Signed, your biggest fan and nationally ranked #1 fan by Democratic vote. Matt.
I would argue Matt would be the #1 fan because he listens to us at 1 speed. And I know for a fact that Michael listens to us at 1.5 psychopath speed.
Dropping the coal on
Matt respects the art we put into the recording with a perfectly timed comedic expertise, while Michael just consumes content like a greedy 49er fan. And because of that greed, they lost the Super Bowl.
Matt's emails are always on point and referencing a lot of different parts of our podcast too. Mike's are all just like, you guys said on the podcast that the Niners going to lose, and well, guess what?
Well, the Nostradamus of football predicted the 49ers were going to win, and they lost.
Ooh, that's true.
I also wore I was going to wear a Niners shirt, and the team I support usually loses. It has lost the last 3 years, so make it 4 years in a row. The team that I have pulled for has lost. So,
well, I think I know how to settle this, guys.
Okay.
Definitely the way to figure out who the biggest fan is if they can settle one of the Cowboys' oldest disagreements, one of the oldest rivals.
Oh.
Do you think Matt and Mike can settle it? That would be who is a more terrible person to society. Is that Steven or is it Ryan?
Ooh, the real menace.
There we go. I want a real menace showdown. Sell it to us, and maybe we could claim you as the Cowboys' #1 fan, and you can be our groupie.
Unfortunately, we cannot settle this for at least 3 months because one fan has been banned for 3 months for poorly written emails.
And I have received emails for that ban, and
we will read them after. No, they're banned. You do not read the emails, Angels. That's the point. What's the point of a ban if you can't hold the ban?
You believe in democracy?
No.
You don't believe?
We spread democracy. We don't need to believe in it.
We could do a vote on the podcast right now.
It's banned.
Oh, there we go. Now, what about Matt? Did Matt have any grammatical errors, or was it just a pristine, well thought out, definitely AI written email?
I've read the email. I allow it.
Did you write the email? Did he write this email to give to Matt to give to us?
The coup. Wait, is that a coup?
I don't know.
Definitely a coup.
I think Ryan. I think Ryan might have inserted a few sentences into that email.
Ryan, what say you?
What do you mean, what say I?
Oh, yeah, did you doctor this note?
That did not doctor.
How did you know what it looked like? How did you see the email?
I read it. I logged into the email and I read the email.
We all have the password?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He does not have the fucking
I
password.
was going to say, I don't even want that.
It's ppwart69! Exclamation point.
Oh, that's right. Use that password. All right, gentlemen. Thank you, our listener. Thank you so much for writing in. Always welcome.
That was good, Matt. Matt, appreciate the subtle sarcasm, and I like that you made a point to pick on and make fun of every last one of the Cowboys, except for Angel. Angel didn't catch any flack, so if you could work on that better.
I was a week late with the episode.
Oh, that's right. All right, I take it back. Good on you, Matt.
I was having a really hard time with After Effects. I am not a professional editor. I'm still learning, and it was a nightmare. I spent 14 hours rendering something that was useless. I made a mistake, so I had to re-render it. It's a nightmare.
Is that the only email you had to read, Angel?
There are others, but we need to keep going because we are already at 25 minutes.
Well, I have a bone to pick.
Oh, yeah, that's next.
Oh,
bones.
do you?
So, Ryan, what bone do you have? Uh-oh.
This is my biggest bone to pick that I've ever had to pick.
Oh, no.
Angel.
What's up?
Steven.
Yeah.
Christopher.
Yes, sir.
This week, the bone has nothing to do with either of you three.
It's about time.
Yeah, thank God.
It is with the entire CoinOp Cowboy fan base.
Wow.
That's all 5 of them?
All 5
6.
of them.
Well, 6.
6.
Now, 2 weeks ago, I discussed the serious medical concern that I was going through.
I was going to ask about your tits.
And, several close friends listen to this podcast.
No.
Family listens to this podcast. And not a single person reached out to say, hey, Ryan, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. What?
I'm so glad.
Nobody. Not a single person reached out to say, hey, you must have gone to the doctor. Are you okay? Not a single fucking person.
I asked.
Wow.
And that's why the bone is not to do with you. It's the fans that listen to the podcast and couldn't be bothered to send an email saying, hey, just want to follow up, make sure Ryan's okay. Or even a text message if you know me, like, hey, I'm concerned. You might have breast cancer, Ryan. I'm worried about you.
Were you getting flashbacks? Were you getting flashbacks to your broken door hospital stay?
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say. I mean, this is definitely the first time you've had a serious medical condition and no one checked on you, right? And oh yeah, the sliding glass door.
It really makes me question my value on this planet.
Ooh. So how long are you going silent for this time?
I don't know. We'll see. This might be the last time any of you hear Cowboy Ryan.
Oh, damn.
So cut my wrists and black my eyes. Cut my wrists and black my eyes.
Well, I'm just glad we weren't the ones that got Ryan off the air.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Cowboy.
I was genuinely concerned for his nipple.
Yeah. So
What was the diagnosis?
what happened to your nipple? Yeah, tell us about.
HIPAA.
For those listening, his nipple was very sore, and it got worse when it got hard. And his doctor in the past had squeezed it and cupped it and told him to do stretches. So,
This is
Ryan,
correct.
what happened?
I was ordered a mammogram and an ultrasound.
You were serious?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Dude, Ryan, have you met Ryan? He is serious 110% of the time.
I know, dude, but I've never heard of a man getting a mammogram, so I'm really interested now.
Did you go to
I was joking.
Did you go to the Kaiser in Ontario?
No, I went to the Kaiser in Anaheim.
Oh, okay.
He wouldn't have driven all the way.
He works right
Ontario
there.
for that.
I
that
do work
makes
right
sense.
there.
It's like right next to his office.
Well, no, but isn't your
I just went there for.
isn't your medical insurance based off where you live though, like county?
But when you get like a specialist, like they'll say
They'll send you.
you can go to any hospital, like you can based on like how soon you want your appointment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been going to like the Ontario one, just for shit.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yes, I went to the doctor and I waited and they called my name and this Asian nurse. Everybody kept asking if I worked there.
Wait,
What?
wait, Ryan. But were you late and they told you that you have to be present next time and they sent you home?
No,
Like
I got there
Cowboy
about 30.
Steven?
I was a responsible adult, so I got there about 30 minutes early.
Wow. I like
and
it.
they called me in early.
It's funny how that works.
But multiple people asked if I worked there, which is very strange. But anyway, this Asian nurse, she brought me in, and she looked surprised to see me. Probably because I was a dude getting a mammogram.
Yeah. Okay. You're getting your mammogram.
Yeah, and they made me take my shirt off, and I put I put a sticker on my nipple.
Oh, pasty.
They made they put a pasty on my nipple, and then they made me put like another sticker underneath my armpit, and I had to wash off my deodorant. And they put my chest inside this machine. They squeezed it real hard at multiple angles, and she said, "Let me look at this and call the doctor." And she went over and called the doctor. And they started whispering some things together, and then she said, "The doctor's canceling the ultrasound." And I said, "Oh, why?" She said, "Well, there's nothing wrong."
Wow.
That's good. That's fast.
good.
So has your nipple pain gone away?
And so I said to her, "It's like, well, why does it hurt?" She goes, "It's probably hormone pain." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Hormone pain.
So did you get labs to see where your hormone levels?
Did testosterone? What's your T level, bro?
Probably too
No.
much estrogen.
No, I said, "Oh, okay, it's not cancer. I can go home. That's fine."
You know the theory behind that, right? The estrogen level in the water.
No, I
No.
get filtered water.
That's a theory?
Yeah, it's a theory. There was a bunch of around the time where they started making birth control pills really popular. These women were taking a lot of birth control pills that spikes the estrogen, and they pee into the water. And it turns out a lot of the water treatment that goes into the tap, they don't test for estrogen. So a lot of males and females are overdosing on estrogen when they drink it. And that's why you have feminized men.
Pee goes to the ocean.
How dare you? We recycle. We are green here.
Wait,
It's
is that
recycled
why,
into landscape.
That's a theory. It's probably a conspiracy theory. I don't know. I heard it on
Don't you
TikTok.
think
Anyway.
anybody would fucking just test water independently? It's like nobody could.
No. When you bought your house, do you remember the guy with the water that came by and was like, "You have hard water"?
No.
He did the precipitate test. Yeah, the guy came by for me, and I was like, "You're full of shit."
But anyway,
Sorry.
I'm not that the CoinOpians care, but I have a clean bill of health.
I'm happy to hear that, Ryan.
My problem is like they'll tell me that and be like, "Yeah, I don't believe you," because fucking Kaiser's like so good at just like brushing me off like with shit, and then like I'll get another doctor and like, "Why didn't they do this?" And you're like, "I don't know. They told me just to go home." Oh my god, that doctor's an idiot. Kind of shit. I'd like go to like this like the same issue. I'll do like 2 doctor visits over. I'm like, still here, still happening. But I told you guys a story about how I went to the doctor and I was like 2 minutes late and they kicked me out, whatever. So the next day I went back because they gave me a new doctor and they're like, "Hey, just come back tomorrow at 10:30. We have a new doctor for you. He's really good." And I go back the next day and I check in like 15 minutes early like they wanted me to. And I get in there and the nurse starts talking to me and she's like, "You had an appointment yesterday?" I was like, "Oh, I was supposed to." And she's like, "You were late. I heard about you."
it's on your LinkedIn profile.
She's like,
It's like a
This fucker's
Seinfeld
voice-
episode.
"Yeah, we're really strict here." She told me again. And I was like, "I get you. I got it. You don't need to make me feel like shit again." All right.
How late were you, Steven?
I was 3 minutes late.
No. Okay, seriously.
13?
So I checked in at my appointment was 9:45 or 9:40. Sorry, I had to be
Because I'm
specific.
late too sometimes. It's fine.
I was there. I pulled into the parking lot at 9:40. I got to the check-in counter at like 9:43. I got to the waiting room at 9:45. That's what they told me.
But,
Okay.
So I said I was a couple minutes late. They're like, "Actually, you're 5 minutes late." I was like, "That's the fucking same thing." I checked.
All right. If they told you
So-
5 minutes, that's bullshit.
But then
So when you showed up the next day, was the doctor on time?
the doctor was on time and he was actually a really decent, like friendly dude that would like listen to what I had to say. So I was happy that I got him and he sent me all the referrals I asked for. And so I started my new journey down my health path. Man, I hate trying to get my health in order at this age. There's too many people.
I have a question for you, Steven.
Okay.
After that episode was released to the public, did anybody reach out to you to see how you're doing?
No, nobody gives a fuck.
Now, Steven, so when they say your appointment's at 9:40, like when I do doctor's appointments, they say, "Okay, your appointment's at 9:40, but you need to check in 15 minutes early." Did
Right.
they not tell you that?
Yeah, I for sure they probably mentioned that at some point, but I was just running late and I figured, oh, I'm right on time. It's not a problem. I've had Kaiser forever. I know that you can, check in. Just they gave like a little leeway there, but I wasn't trying to push it. I just like legitimately got caught up. So, but I still thought it was like extreme that like 5 minutes late to your appointment, like they're gonna like send you packing, even though.
Well, you know, if everybody showed up 5 minutes late, Steven, that doctor would go home 2 hours late and he would miss his daughter's dance recital. Do you want to be responsible for that?
Yep.
Piece of shit.
That is 12 people. That's 12 appointments a day.
That seems reasonable.
No, that's a lot.
Whenever I see a doctor at Kaiser, I spend more time with the nurse getting like my vitals taken and checking in, and the doctor comes in for maybe 10 minutes.
It's 5 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, less than that.
Dude, you gotta get a different doctor. I spend more time with my doctor. I have a really good relationship with my doctor. My psychiatrist, my doctor, my that's all I got. My psychiatrist and doctor.
Is it like when he tells you to you get undressed, he gets undressed too? Like that comfortable?
Oh yeah.
Do you go through? Who do you have? Do you just have private?
Kaiser.
Kaiser. Yeah, I think.
Well, I'm in a different area. I'm in South Bay.
I was talking to a friend who's in the medical field, and she happened to mention, she's like, getting a good doctor, especially with Kaiser. She had Kaiser, but like to get a good doctor, it's like a lot like dating. You know, you got to keep, like, if you don't like the feel of your doctor and he's not personable, or like I had one doctor, he was like super friendly. I enjoyed talking to him, but everything I would tell him and be like, hey man, I've had really high blood pressure for a while. What should I do about this? He's like, you're fine. You're young. It's fine. I'm like, hey man, I've been getting these migraines, man. They've been bugging me and I want to like get it checked out. You're fine. If it was anything bad, you'd be like dead, you know, but like he was cool to talk to, but like every issue I had was just pushed to the side on the fact that I'm like young or whatever. Like probably the stats align with me, right? Like I'm like not likely to have X, Y, and Z. It's more likely it's this. So just chill out. But, you know, like some persistent problems I've had, like getting a little older, some persistent problems. I'm like, I would really like a referral. Like, I'd really like to go talk to, like, I've been having some like eye issues recently. And I'm like, I like went today and I was like, I need to see an ophthalmologist. Like, I need to get to the root of what's going on, like with my vision. Like there's some like bullshit. Like I've been getting
Let's
like,
just see an optometrist.
Did they tell you to stop putting cum in your eye?
yeah. So that's one thing they did mention. The other one they mentioned was to stop staying up so late doing a podcast on an LCD screen. But you know, I'm not going to listen.
Wear those better glasses, dude. Those fucking work.
So I did see an optometrist. They did a bunch of scans of my eyeball. The eyeball's fine. It's probably more like a migraine type of thing, like happening in my head. So I'm just like, yo, like, let's just make sure that I don't have a fucking little friend in my head, you know, at some point. But to get to the point where they're actually going to like do anything to like scan you or test you, you have to go through, I've gone to like 3 or 4 different doctors to get the referral. And I'm like, bro, like it's been going on for months. I just want to get a referral. And you find the right doctor and he's like, yeah, no problem. That's like, of course you would, you know? So I did a little doctor dating, and I'm pretty happy where I'm at now and making strides.
Did you ask your doctor to join your Mafia Wars clan?
You got to get close, buddy.
Yeah, got to get real close. I'm not sure, you know.
What was that doctor? What was that? Is like, please, you leave. What is it? Like the doctor wanted to get into the club, and he was obnoxious.
Dr. Dre?
No, dude, it was that show you guys like that's fucking retarded.
Dr. House?
I think you should leave show.
Yeah, I think you should leave. There was a doctor who like, he's like, you can get me the club, right? Yeah, I built it. It's fine. But he didn't want to let him in. That's kind of funny. I have questions for both of you.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
But there's 3 of us.
No, of course. Well, Chris, you didn't have any medical stories. So unfortunately, we're going to be on the same side asking questions. But I did have questions for Ryan. Ryan.
Yes.
I hear from a lot of female friends and family that mammograms are very painful. And I would probably never, unless I'm in a similar situation, that experience that. So can you kind of tell me, did it really hurt?
It's certainly uncomfortable. And the lady said that it probably doesn't hurt men as much because there's just not as much boob to squeeze. There's much less material getting squished in there. It definitely was uncomfortable, but I wouldn't classify it as it hurt. But I could definitely see if I had more matter to get like shoved in there and squeezed, it would certainly hurt.
I was told by a female close to me that you were going to cry like a little bitch because they hurt like a motherfucker. So look at Ryan now, fucking brave, and he didn't even fucking shed a tear.
Such a man.
So go tell all the women you know that mammograms don't even hurt. Go tell them. Just say, you know what? I have a close personal source that you guys are being pussies. Go see how that works out for you.
If I had actual boobies to really get squeezed in there, I know for a fact it would fucking hurt. Like, definitely would.
I think we're gonna have more mail from our female listeners next week.
Yeah, we're gonna have some hate mail.
How dare you? Steven, I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you said friend in my head, I've been playing Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3, a really good game. It's a super easy game. I don't know if you had a chance to play it. Really easy. Fucking retarded if you can't get it.
Act 3 is the best gaming you've ever going to experience in your life.
What did you mean by friend in your head?
Like a fucking tumor growing, fucking up my fucking...
Oh... I thought you meant like a parasite, like a mind flare.
Tadpole?
Nah.
Yeah, tadpole.
I'd be more concerned about like something in my head pushing on nerves, causing vision problems than, something like that.
You're having a fucking migraine, Steven.
Well, no headache, but I'm getting these like, it's like technical what I'm getting. I don't really it's not anything like, they're called like vision auras. They're like these little things that happen.
You like telling the future or some shit?
Nope, just like this little pixel pops up in my vision. Like if you're like a little pixel pops up and it's distorted. Like I looked in a light too long and it grows and grows until it's this like fucking weird like crescent shape.
What?
Yes.
The floaties? They're floaties.
Nah, it's different than
I have
that.
a lot of floaties actually.
It's like as if my like eyes like crash in a very specific part and then my system reboots and it's just like it grows until it's hard to explain. Just Google vision auras, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just a vision problem and all the doctors like, yeah, it's fine. It's like a migraine.
Sounds like it's a glitch in the matrix.
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about, Steven.
If you just Google image, if you go to vision auras and you just look at Google images, it'll give you like kind of an idea of what I might see.
Yeah. Now, Stephen, with that, have you been to an eye doctor yet? And they do the thing where they hold your eye open and they shoot a camera in there and they do an inside scan of your eye, or they need to like dilate you.
Yes. So this is what's next. Is I'm going to an ophthalmologist, and it's probably more like second down on the left. Like kind of like that shape, but not the cloudiness, just that like outside perimeter of it, that kind of like bright. Yeah, like that.
It looks like that, seriously?
It kind of looks like that. It's not, it's hard for them to explain it perfectly, but it starts off as a tiny little dot, kind of grows into that. And then my vision just kicks it off to the side and it goes away. And the rest of the day I'm fine. And I've kind of gotten them throughout my life, but like once in a blue moon, but like recently I've had them like frequently. So I'm just like a little freaked out about it. I'm just like, well, I should get checked. So they're going to dilate my eyes in early March. They're going to dilate my eye and like dive deep into my fucking eyeballs and like see if there's anything going on in there. Maybe order like an MRI, just like, just make sure nothing bad's happened and just make sure it's just like, oh, it's just like a migraine thing, or maybe you're staring at your screens too long. It's all these exterior factors, not anything scary. So
How do you take a selfie when they dilate your eyes?
You're probably going to fight in Morpheus.
I have no other symptoms. So that's why they weren't freaked out. Because like, well, do you have any other symptoms? I'm like, nope, just these. They're like, well, if it was like anything bad, you'd probably be like having seizures and passing out and massive headaches and shit. And I'm just like, no, none of that.
Will you take a selfie when they dilate your eyes?
Mel can do it because she has to be with me. I need a driver, apparently. They told me I need a driver.
I've had my eyes dilated and drove home.
I'm sure I could. They said bring dark glasses and shit, but...
Yeah. You're not supposed to, but I was like, I ain't no bitch.
How long does it take to go back? Because I told her to just drop me off at work.
It takes like half a day.
Rest of the day. Yeah.
The rest of the day, it's just kind of fucked up.
I idea to drive myself.
Yeah.
So I figured do it in the morning. She could drop me off at work and I can just chill there and then I'll drive home after work. That was my plan.
Or you can do it in the afternoon or evening.
So why do they do your dilations? Is that for like LASIK stuff? Did they like dilate your eyes for LASIK, or do they just want to look at your eyes for other stuff?
No, so for me, I've had I got my first pair of glasses when I was 6, and at the height of my vision, I had a -9 vision, which is like drastically bad. I would say the average person gets up to like a -3. So because my vision was so bad, every year they dilate my eyes and look inside them for just any kind of weird stuff happening because I have bad eyes.
Yeah.
But they have a machine now that kind of allows you to get around dilating, where you get up on this machine and it gets up close and it does like a flash and it takes a kind of like a picture view off the back of your eye. So they can, if they have that machine, they can do it. If not, they dilate you and just get in there with a magnifying glass.
So I went to an optometrist and they had like put me on 4 different like machines, like the one that blows on your eyes, the one that, but they never dilated anything, but they did like a freaking scan of my eyeballs, and he was like, "Hey, there's nothing wrong with your eyes." So.
Yeah, there should be one where it's like you get in there and he's like, okay, when it's green, there's just one green light at the end, and he says when it turns green, that means you're at the right depth or elevation. And he says just hold it, and it does like a camera flash.
I did all that, so I mean, but an ophthalmologist, as opposed to like an optometrist, they'll like they handle like the entire like optic everything. So from the eyeball to like the connection in the brain. So it's going to be. My optometrist like, yeah, you should see an ophthalmologist. So
that would make sense.
There I am, just moving forward. But like, these are things that, I just push off for a while. And you're like, you should just, I wanted to like this year, I'm getting like dental work done. Like I have a freaking crown on Monday, and like just different things. Like I'm chasing down like my other physical health, like trying to like get all dialed in at 35. There's just too many things piling up, I feel like.
Man, ever since you got that facial hair to stick and grow, you just been on a roll of getting the body worked out.
Yeah, I wish I could like commit to some exercise, but that was another thing. I went to the doctor's like, I'm always fucking sick. Everybody says I have fucking AIDS.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, and like he was like very convinced that like my childhood asthma is like coming back with like my allergies and my child bringing home a lot of germs. He's like, you have like a cocktail going on. Like you have your allergies going on, you have all these germs coming back from daycare, and you have underlying asthma that hasn't been a problem, but now that you have those other two, so he's put me on like, every day I wake up, I do like allergy nasal spray. I do a fucking Claritin, and I take this inhaler he prescribed me. And so far so good. All that stuff's pretty much gone away. So I'm just like crossing my fingers. But the minute I fucking go back to the gym, I'm adding a 4th ingredient to that cocktail, because gyms are fucking disgusting. Like if you think about it, right? There's like sweat and germs everywhere, unless you're at like a really nice gym that cleans everything all the time. You're definitely swapping with like 50 different people every night.
You're such a masochist.
You know what I love to do at the gym, Steven?
What?
When I get off a machine, I love to turn around and look at my ass sweat print.
Yeah, you could bring
that. I feel embarrassed.
You could bring a towel; it doesn't clean it. I mean, it's the stuff like the touchscreen treadmills and stuff that people are. I guess you could like make sure you wash your hands really good, but when you're working out and you're sweaty, what if you just like do a quick, like inadvertent like swipe of your forehead or a swipe of your face to get some sweat beads out of your eye, and boom, dude, you just put all those germs on you. I get sick all the time. I go back to the gym.
Don't take your shoes off in the locker room.
I got a stand-up desk. That was a new thing.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I recently found out my desk can stand up too.
Me too. I was up to the office for a year and a half. Realizing I
same dude. I looked it up like, what the fuck?
As long as you wear the right shoes, man, stand-up desks are fucking dope. I stood all day today doing my work. I feel like it actually keeps you a little more busy because you're not getting so relaxed in your chair. Like if I have to turn to get some paperwork off of another desk, I'm like, boom, dude, just do it. You're already up. And
I got immediately sick of that shit. After like 3 days, I'm like, I'm sitting down.
Well, wear the right shoes and even get like a little mat that might be a little comfy, and you'll do a lot better.
I have a mat.
But then the next thing I'm thinking about is getting one of those like walking treadmills that are like just on the floor. They don't have anything, and so I'm like kind of walking and working all day.
There you go.
Because I'm so sedentary,
Fucking
man.
nerd.
It's not that, man. I'm so sedentary, man. It's causing me to...
It's his ADHD that's fucking firing off.
I don't know. I think I have that. Maybe I do. Have you ever seen it on like TikTok or some shit where they're like signs you have ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD, and it's like things that you like that's totally me. But I think they're designed to do that to make you think you have fucking ADHD. But
No, I don't have those, Steven.
no, whatever. Fuck it.
It's conspiracy shit.
I hate Googling like runny nose, because then the rest of your fucking TikTok's going to be Vicks nasal spray for a fucking week.
We're at 50 minutes. This is the podcast. This is just the podcast talking about doctors.
People love the discourse. All right, let's get into it then.
Really? It's at 50 minutes.
I have a short segment if you want to throw. Well, you have a picker.
All right, yeah.
It's all decided by fate, Steven.
I guarantee people will like that
Spin
first
your
50
fucking
minutes.
wheel. Spin your fucking
Ryan.
wheel.
Let's go ahead and spin the wheel.
You know, we should hear from the fans. Fans, tell us what we think of Steven Dr. House over here for 50 minutes. Let us know. Let us know your feelings.
I was going to say.
I pressed the button. Sorry.
That first 50 minutes is going to be gold. People are going to love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
All the wedding
all
jokes.
This is going to the second episode.
Me, baby. Oh, maybe not.
Wheel don't lie. He like hacked it twice to get.
It's me. Gentlemen, we're going to be talking about another SCP because I am all about the SCP right now, Secure, Contain, Protect Foundation. And if you hear this, this thing about online where it's like fake news or it's like made up, you're being lied to because they don't want this to get out. Okay, you really need to focus, push out all the idiots, and get focused. And this one's actually really close to my heart because I've actually been to this location. Do you believe that? Crickets. All right.
No.
So you don't believe that? All right. Well, yeah. This is about. Have you guys heard of Ikea? Obviously, you have. But what's your opinion on Ikea? Let me close this shit and stop sharing. Where the fuck did Ryan go? Where the fuck did Ryan go? Ryan!
Wait, Ikea, is that place where they sell the meatballs?
I needed water.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Fucking whipping boy here. You hear this, CoinOpians? Angel doesn't even let us drink water. You see how he treats us behind the scenes. That's all it is. That's the fucking. Hey, where's your topic? Are you ready? Are you guys gonna be on tonight? Steven, did you confirm? Steven, I'm waiting for you to confirm. All you did was send a voice message yesterday, but you didn't really say I confirmed to do this tomorrow.
That was a really funny back and forth, by the way. I really enjoyed it sitting at my desk. I really enjoyed it.
But yes, I know about Ikea, Angel.
Okay.
I very much enjoy Ikea. I get a nice little ice cream.
Oh, you enjoy
I get a nice little ice cream. The yogurt, the whip, whatever the hell it is, the soft serve. It's delicious, and it's only $1. And you get to walk around, see all these very clean bedrooms, buy some cheap trinkets. But I hate taking the shit home and building it because I probably curse about 80,000 curse words while building that shit. Always convinced it's wrong. Turn it around 1,000 ways, and somehow it works on 1,001th way. And you go, oh, okay, cool.
That makes sense. Anybody else have any IKEA stories?
I feel like I should. Right? You should have an IKEA story, but every time I go there, I'm just like, oh my god, I just want to get the fuck out.
I agree. It's a lot of stuff. It's overwhelming, and it's like, oh, this is useful, and then this other thing is useful, and then just there's so many useful things. It's just gonna be clutter. Well, Chris, did you have anything?
I just know that my wife spends a lot of time on Pinterest, and so she'll come up with these like cool ideas. She's like, hey, we'll order this thing from IKEA, and then you just need you to modify it, and then we'll put it here, and it'll be fine. So I feel like we have a fair amount of those type of things. There's a lot of IKEA in my house, but I did learn that IKEA has more or less two furnitures. It has like the I would call it a standard quality or a good quality furniture, like, dressers, whatnot. And then they also have the unbelievably value set that's made of ground up wood chips, that are glued together. So
that's all my IKEA.
Yeah, I was going to say. So that's what I envisioned IKEA for the longest time, because that's the type of furniture I interacted with. But now after getting their nicer furniture, I'm like, oh, this stuff is not too bad. This is actually really good stuff. It's solid. It's hanging out long. So I should probably take back all those nasty emails I sent to IKEA about their stuff being crap.
Fair point. Yeah. There's a new one that popped up really recently. Wayfair.
Oh, yep.
Tried Wayfair. Have you put one together? Oh my god,
yes.
It's like the entire.
So I bought the Wayfair desk and I put it together in my office, and then I didn't like it, so I chopped it up and made my own desk in my clawfus. So if you ever seen my clawfus, the little desk in there is custom built by me from Wayfair. I just chopped it all up. Yeah.
Did you order the $10,000 pillow, Steven?
What the fuck is that? Never heard of it.
$10,000.
That's the human trafficking.
What?
Oh, I did hear about this. Wayfair would have like oddly expensive listed furniture, and people would buy it, and so people were well, I'll let Ryan tell the rest.
Yeah, it was pretty much like there'd be like a pillow on there for asininely expensive. It'd be like thousands of dollars. And the theory was if you're ordering that, you're not ordering a pillow, you're ordering a child.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's either it's either like some sort of laundering scheme, or it's like they're selling something else, like maybe a pillow fold with like cocaine or something. I don't know. Because why would somebody be buying like a cheap desk for like $15,000?
And subscribe to our Patreon. We're going to have a tier level there that will be.
Can't hear you.
Bring your gain up.
It's like really spotty too. You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Right when I started talking about our Patreon.
I still think you're a little quiet.
Hello.
There you go.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and join our Patreon. All the proceeds will be going towards a Wayfair item to see if really cocaine or children are in the come in the box.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll uncover everything for you. But this SCP is about Ikea. And I actually went to this Ikea. I lived near it. As a child, I lived in Wilmington, California, which is the harbor port city. Not very wealthy, but it's there. And a neighboring city is Carson. And this has to do with the Ikea at the South Bay Galleria Carson Mall.
Isn't that the only Ikea in the area? Oh, no, they probably have one in like West Covina.
I have no idea.
They have West Covina, Costa Mesa, right?
Clearly, you know more about Ikeas than I do.
Well, I know the Chargers practice facility has an Ikea right on the other side of it. So, like, every time you see practice videos of them, you just see Ikea behind it, and they practice in Costa Mesa. So,
oh wow!
And I know there's one off the 4 up there off the 5 or something, but I don't know what city it's in.
Well, this Ikea is not so lucky. It has an SCP. It actually is an SCP. So let's go ahead and give a background. The retail part containing SCP-3008. This is SCP-3008. Has been purchased by the Foundation and converted into a site redacted. So they converted it, whatever, the Foundation. All public roads leading to or passing by the site have been redirected. And that is true. I've actually driven by since I've read this at the Galleria Mall, and I can't get to it anymore, that part of the mall. It's really weird. So the entrances of SCP-3008 is to be monitored at all times. No one is to enter 3008 outside of the testing as permitted by the senior researcher. And humans exiting 3008 are to be detained and debriefed prior to the administration of amnestics, whatever. Dependent upon the duration of their stay in 3008, a cover story may need to be generated prior to their release. So basically, people...
This is the IKEA in Carson, has a road next to it that has no more entrances?
Yeah, you can't get to it anymore. They blocked it off. Now, I will describe this SCP. Get ready.
Those are pillows. Wait, there's a $10,000 pillow back there.
Get him. All right. The SCP-3008 is a large retail unit previously owned by and branded as IKEA, a popular furniture retail chain. A person entering SCP-3008 through the main entrance and then passing out of sight of the doors will find themselves translocated in SCP-3008-1. Now, a lot of these SCP files, just if you're not aware, have a -1, -2, -3 that is connected to the original SCP file, and they are individual components. So, just so you're aware, where did Steven go? What are you guys looking at?
I think he's going to IKEA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, find it. Find it, dude.
Okay, so I'm looking at this IKEA, but it's blocked off from the main road from Wilbur.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Dominguez?
You're muted, Ryan. You're muted, and you're sharing Wayfair website.
It's $460 pillow.
It's a Botanica pillow.
Sunshine Geometric Throw Pillow.
That's right. How dare you? You said $10,000. I would not pay $10,000 for that.
Anyway, continue.
You distracted me. Now where's Steven?
But
Where's
the
your
echo
boyfriend?
went away when Steven left.
The echo went away. That's funny. Yeah, because his earphones bleed. I got you.
The SCP got me.
I'm glad you made it out alive. Now, as I was saying, these SCP, so you're going to hear a lot of -1 and -2. When I'm referring to, -1 is a certain portion of the anomaly, and -2 is another portion of the anomaly. Together, make up the entire anomaly. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So,
Sure.
Dash 1 is the IKEA itself. So a person entering the 3008 anomaly pass through the main entrance, and then they're out of sight, find themselves translocated in Dash 1, which is the location itself. This displacement will typically go unnoticed, as no change will occur from the perspective of the victim. They will generally not become aware until they try to return to the entrance. Dash 1 is a space resembling the inside of an IKEA furniture store, extending far beyond the limits of what could physically be contained within the dimensions of a retail unit. Current measurements indicate the area of at least 10,000 square kilometers, with no visible external terminators detected in any direction. Inconclusive results from the use of laser rangefinders has led to the speculation that the space may be infinite. So, Chris, I remember in an earlier episode you mentioned using these rangefinders. Is it odd? What happens if you can't if you point one of those into like open space?
Yeah, it's so for example, the one that I have is I feel like a lot of people get one for golf, and so when you're golfing, you just need to see like 300 yards, whatever. So, but I have one that goes 600 yards, 600 or 800 yards, because I use it more for hunting. So, but there's times in hunting where I'm looking across the valley and I see something like, oh, let me check that, and I'll just hit the button, and it'll just flash saying that it can't read that far. So I go, okay, well, it's beyond 600 or 800 yards. So in your situation, if they're using rangefinders inside a building, which again, I mean, we're talking about rangefinders can go up to 1,000 yards. If you can shoot one inside of a building and you're not finding the other side, that's a very big building. Even like a Costco, which is one of the biggest buildings I can normally think of, or even SoFi Stadium, you can shoot one across and see the other side.
Right. So if you had one that could reach 1,000 yards, right, that was actually past that, say it was 10,000 yards, who knows, or 20,000, 50,000, would you be surprised to aim at the end of the building if you were on the other side and it read that it couldn't read the end?
Yeah, it'd be weird. But my first thought would be there must be a weird texture on the other side. Like a lot of normal textures, like I don't know if a tree or a rock or a wall, something like that, the laser will be able to get there and reflect. But if you have like the Disney concert hall, for example, where you're shooting your laser and they have a lot of those real smooth metal curves, then the laser, when it gets there, it could be deflecting, because the way that the rangefinder works is it shoots a laser out of the bottom, it hits the unit, and it bounces back, and it times how long it takes to get back, and that's how it figures out the range. So if there was a weird material on the other end, it might not read.
That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that. Have you actually been inside the Disney concert hall?
I have. I have.
Awesome. Real life.
An incredibly short story is there was this girl that I was seeing, not necessarily dating, and I wanted to cut things off, but I invited her to the Disney concert hall. So we went to the Disney concert hall together. I took her home, and then when I dropped her off at her door, I was like, "Oh, actually, I think we're done. We'll just go ahead and call it from there." And then I went over to a friend's house. And everyone's like, "Why are you all dressed up like this?" I was like, "Oh, I just went to the Disney concert hall." They're like, "By yourself?" I said, "No, I went with this girl." "Well, where's the girl at?" "Well, I took her home and said, hey, I think we're done." And everyone's like, "Why'd you do that?" And I said, "I wanted to see the orchestra. I already got the tickets."
This seems to be a habit of yours, to take girls on a date that you don't want to be on a date.
Take them on a nice date and crush their souls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is it the same Disney girl?
No, this is a different girl.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of made it. Did you get the reference I was making?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm happy about that. No, very cool. But I mean, if you wouldn't expect that from a typical retail building, would you?
No way. No, a typical retail building. Well, one, most buildings are going to have paint on the inside. They're going to have either a CMU block or drywall or even like a concrete tilt up. Those are like the key ones, and they're going to have paint over that with drywall. So that's going to be fine. Rangefinders are not going to have an issue with that.
Very good. Thank you, Chris. So IKEAs, I imagine, are in typical retail. So this would be strange activity for it to show an infinite range.
For sure. I'd probably return that rangefinder just because I would be like, well, I see the end of it. I can see it's not that far, but I would return the rangefinder because I would assume it's broke.
Oh, very good. I trust that our friends at the SCP have done that, but we don't know. It's not in the detail files. I will continue. So Dash 1, so it's a space, right? It's an IKEA. If you've been inside an IKEA, there's a bunch of rooms, and then you move throughout it, and at the end of it, you get Swedish meatballs and a soda.
Yes.
But this Dash 1, which is the IKEA itself, is inhabited by an unknown number of civilians trapped within prior to containment. They've contained this already, and they've been trapped prior to this event. Gathering data suggests that they have formed a rudimentary civilization within -1, including to constructing settlements and fortifications for the purpose of defending against -2.
Is -2 like the bad IKEA place?
I'm glad you asked, Chris. -2 are humanoid entities that exist within -1. While superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated and inconsistent bodily proportions, often described as being too short or too tall. They possess no facial features and in all observed cases wear a yellow shirt and blue trousers consistent with the IKEA employee uniform.
So they're fake. They're dressed as fake IKEA workers, but they didn't get their dimensions right, so they have big heads and weird shaped fingers.
It's wild. It's wild. Now, -1 has a rudimentary day-night cycle determined by the overhead lighting within the space activating and deactivating at times consistent with the opening and closing times of the original retail store. During the, quote, night instances, -2 will become violent towards all other life forms within -1. During these bouts of violence, they have been heard to vocalize phrases in English that are typically variations of "The store is now closed. Please exit the building." Once day begins, -2 instances immediately become passive and begin moving throughout -1 seemingly at random. They are unresponsive to questioning or other verbal cues in this stage, though will react violently if attacked. So it's wild that -2, these automatons, these wild, these humanoid figures that have random heights, are at night when the store is to be closed. Anything moving around will start to vocalize what you would expect a retail salesperson would say, saying, we're closed. It's time to leave. And
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then when it becomes daytime, it's like everything's back to normal. You're allowed to be in the store. Now, I can imagine the detail in this when they become violent if attacked is because during the nighttime they are in attack mode. If they notice an inhabitant lost in -1, they will go ahead and attack them because they're not supposed to be in the store.
I was going to say, have you guys ever been in a store or in Disneyland when it actually closes and they want you to leave?
No.
Has that ever happened to you guys? They are not friendly about it. And I used to work at Vaughn's, and I remember it was the same way. We would say, okay, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 60 seconds. And by the time it hits 0, it's obnoxious. Like, hey man, I want you to leave so I can go home.
Yeah.
And you would like shoo people out. They're like, well, I'm not doing grocery shopping. No, you're done. You didn't make it to the front in time. What? You're not going to let me finish? So, you need to be at the register right now. So I can imagine, me being that worker, I was very frustrated at that time. So I think it's really ironic that these entities, once it closes, they also become hostile because they're like, hey, you're not supposed to be here.
That's a very good comparison, Chris.
Is this like a backrooms deal?
Yes. Yes, it is. It is actually very similar to how the backrooms is, which, by the way, CoinOpians, we still have to do our playthrough of the backrooms, and we promise to do that in the future. I don't know when. We're probably
We promised to do
We
that.
promised last year, like on episode 2.
I mean, we've been promising that one sandwich and alcohol challenge, so who cares?
Oh my god, it sounds so delicious right now.
I don't want to hear it from you. All right.
It'll probably make your eye twitch, Steven.
Yeah.
Now, Angel, on top of that, have you seen the movie Inception?
I have seen all the Inceptions. Go ahead.
Is there more than
There's
one?
only one.
There are 3.
Oh, how am I so far behind? Okay, well, I
There's
saw
only one.
More than one?
There are no sequels to Inception.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless.
Oh! I thought you meant Insidious. Never mind. No, I have not.
Nope. Inception. Oh, Insidious is utterly terrifying. So Inception, right, with Leonardo DiCaprio, and he goes into people's dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That one sound familiar?
Yeah, I have not seen it, but I've heard it's like a thing within a thing within a thing.
Okay. Well, so the concept is when you get put into another person's dream. Well, there's random people walking around that the brain is generating. There's just random people. But if you start like messing with stuff, all those people in there start looking at you, and they eventually become hostile, saying, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here," and they all start attacking you. So it is also the same concept.
That is interesting. So wait, let me get this straight.
It's almost like a white blood cell.
What'd you say? White blood cell. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. So to close this out, Dash 1 is known to have one or more exits located within, these exits do not appear to have a fixed position, making it difficult to leave Dash 1 once inside. Using any other door besides the main entrance to enter the structure or breaking through the walls of the retail unit leads into the non-anomalous interior of the original store. They're in there forever. Since containment began, 14 individuals have managed to escape SCP-3008. Following extensive debriefing, all individuals have been administered amnestics and released, whatever. And just to show you guys, there was an incident actually at 00. It's an incident of Dash 1 at 0037 on redacted date. A human male exited SCP-3008, following 10 seconds later by an instance of Dash 2. So there's an actual incident recorded of a human leaving the Ikea store in the middle of the night with a Dash 2 or one of these automatons following them. Dash 2 caught and killed the man before itself being terminated by armed response personnel. So at the time, the SCP already knew that it was an anomaly and didn't get to the guy in time, unfortunately.
There's a police report?
This incident represents the only time an instance of Dash 2 has been seen exiting the SCP-3008. A full autopsy on the corpse was performed, and you can check out the autopsy logs for more details. And there's also a transcript of journals recovered from Dash 1, and it's super, super long. I'm not going to go into that, but that's basically it. I find it really interesting because I've actually been to that Ikea, and it was, I was a child. And when you're a child, everything is much larger. So it's like, is it really that large? But I remember it being super large and like really relieved that it was ending. And I remember the food court and leaving, and I've only been there once. So
I've made multiple trips to the one in Costa Mesa, and it's really ironic to be looking at these two right here. So this Ikea, that if you Google Earth the Ikea in Carson, this has to be the absolute smallest Ikea I've ever seen in my life. There's a Target next to it that looks drastically bigger. But Ikea is known for being absolutely huge because you have all these floors to walk through. You have all this square footage to go through. And then when you get to the end, it's like the warehouse section, right? When you find what you want, you got to go pick it off the shelf. So I'm looking at this, that one's so small. And then if I compare it with a normal looking Ikea, this one in Costa Mesa is absolutely huge. So I remember walking through the Ikea in Costa Mesa, seeing how big it is, and it takes forever to get out of it. So the fact that this little Ikea also feels big, there's a problem there.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to go around the horn. Cowboys. Thank you for that, Chris. I'm going to start with you, actually. What do you think? Is this a true SCP? Do you believe in the CP? Or
for sure. So it was ironic. Like the last episode, I was really confused at what the SCP was going for, and it was just this one just makes more sense, probably because it's more simplified in the concept, in the back room concept and theory. So yeah, I could totally see this one, and I don't think I'm ever going to be going to that Ikea. I'm going to stick with Costa Mesa.
You and I both, brother.
Carson.
What is the city that it was in? Ikea at the Carson.
Carson. We almost bought a house in Carson.
So long story short, it's still there.
I can't find it. I went to American Tire because my tire popped in winter. And I drove around there for a minute. Can't find it.
This is the SCP-3008?
Yeah.
3008. I was literally there in winter. We were chatting in the fucking Coin Up Cowboys podcast chat. I was editing an episode. Couldn't find it. Anyways, thank you, Chris, for your feedback.
No problem.
What do you think, Steven?
I don't know. I'm kind of Googling what SCP-3008, what the IKEA is, and I guess there's a whole Roblox game or something on it.
Have you played Roblox?
No.
It's fucking retarded, dude. Don't play it. It's so
stupid.
stupid.
You can watch full-on movies in there.
It's just as dumb as Minecraft.
How dare you? Minecraft is a quality game. Just because it doesn't have beautiful graphics that you expect.
Wait, so I'm trying to put this all together. So there's the IKEA that's supposedly not there anymore, but it's there.
It is there, but I can't. There's no way to get to it.
Why?
I can't find a way to get to it.
They have it blocked off.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now.
You're full of shit.
What? What do you mean I'm full of shit? I can't get to it. I tried driving around. I went into the mall. There's no internal access to the IKEA. I remember there was a Toys R Us, and I went to the Toys R Us area.
What's confusing me is there's an IKEA in Carson that
I know.
It's fine.
You can't get to
What
it.
do you mean? It's right off the freaking 405.
CoinOpians, we're going to go ahead and take a group travel. What is this? A school trip? A field trip? Down to we're going to take to the Ikea. We're going to try to find it, and then we're going to get chased by the FBI and the SCP after we identify that there is actually no Ikea
I'm
there.
literally looking at the entrance to it right now on Google
How
Maps.
dare you, Stephen?
I don't understand this segment. Also,
There's an Ikea that doesn't exist anymore.
so the one that does exist in Carson, that's not the one you're talking about.
That it does not exist.
Okay.
I live 5 minutes from there. 10 minutes. 10 minutes from there.
Let's read the wiki. Okay. SCP-3008 is a large retail unit previously owned by and branded as Ikea.
It opens at 10 a.m.
Steven,
tomorrow.
that's legit what he just spent the last 15 minutes reading.
I know, but I don't get it because
How dare you?
I went to Google Maps and I searched the one in Carson and it's just like a normal one. It's on Google Maps.
Yeah. It's open at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
I just want to bring
The
awareness.
big entrance at the parking lot.
No, it's not. Don't be fooled. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Next up, Ryan. What do you think of this SCP?
Because you're full of shit. I'm with Steven.
What?
I'm looking at it on Google Maps. It opens at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay, but
What?
2700 South Avalon
this
Boulevard.
SCP though, like, isn't specific to that one. It's just just an IKEA. It's like a back rooms, but it's like an IKEA thing. It doesn't specifically say the one in Carson.
I'm okay. It's okay. No, thank you very much for your input. It seems like we're 50-50 here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick you guys up tomorrow morning. Be ready at 2 a.m. and we're gonna go down to this IKEA.
Well, you're not going to be able to get
Hopefully
in
we
at
don't see
2
this.
a.m. They open at 10 a.m. That's your problem.
We can. Then I'll pick you up at 8:30.
This reminds me of an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark that scarred me for life.
So you should believe.
Oh, is it the one in the mall?
The one in the mall.
With the pinball machine?
Yeah, where the ball rolls up and traps them all in the mall forever. That one like opened up my mind too harsh when I was a kid.
Did they bring that show back?
So does that mean that you believe in this IKEA SCP?
The SCP reminded me of that episode.
I think we have Steven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's 3 against 1, Ryan.
That's fine.
Your story's shit.
All right.
I'll go there tomorrow and I'll pass through the doors and I'll come back out.
Well, but they brought
Pictures
back
right
Are
on
You
it.
Afraid of the Dark in 2019, Steven.
Oh, yeah, I won't watch that show. Fuck me up.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys listening and humoring me. I guess we're going to have to take a field trip down there and figure it out. That's all I got to say about that. So
Yeah, baby.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you for listening. Let's go ahead and share that wheel because we are running behind. Wait.
Which one? Did you just fall down a hole?
No, you didn't tell him to spin it.
But you hear his voice. It sounded like he fell down a well.
He's playing Minecraft to the side and he just fucking got
I am playing Minecraft because I got to sell my refined mithril in like 4 hours.
whatever.
I got a pimple on my lip. It really hurts.
Herpes.
Good. I'm glad it hurts.
Anyway, spin your fucking wheel, Angel.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, here we go.
Another Chris Angel magic special.
Yeah, here we go.
You have no idea how many people love that.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. All right, evening Wranglers. Come on in. Take a seat on the log. Get ready for a fantastic episode of Decisions Were Made. All right. Imagine that you stand before some train tracks. Just as you notice the bridge has fallen into disrepair, you hear the whistle of a train approaching. The rail company stands firmly behind its no refund policy. And you feel like no matter how hard you wave your arms, the train is doomed. This was the case of Roger Bizjoy and his engineers in the months leading up to January 28th, 1986. NASA. Have you guys ever heard of that term before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
What would you say NASA stands for?
Lazy astronauts.
Not a single affirmation.
Nerds Are Sexy Association?
Oh, God damn it.
National Association of Silly Acronyms? Neil Armstrong Saw Aliens.
Cringing.
Or how about Need Astronauts? Someone? Anyone?
Cringing so hard.
All right. It stands for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Hey, I think Ryan might have figured this one out for us earlier. How many active astronauts are employed by the U.S.?
Too many.
How many of you guys think?
I would never know that, honestly.
We covered this in a previous episode.
Yeah,
20?
man, we talked
20.
about it.
20.
39. You're swinging in the right spot, though.
Too many.
What would you guys think is the economic value of NASA? What does NASA do for the economy?
0.
They're good at spending money, and that's probably seen as a good thing for the economy. So it's good.
Right. So ironically, when I went to so if you go to the NASA website, there's a tab on there that's like, how NASA benefits society. And they had 3 points on there. They said they generate 71 billion in economic output. They supported 339,000 jobs, including the 39.
How do they have so many jobs? What have they done? How are there so many jobs?
No. They supported it. So the concept is, it's not just people working for NASA, but it's like NASA, they need a thruster. So it's the people in the factories building the thrusters, or the guys in the mines getting the metals for the thrusters. So I think they branch it out that way.
Thrusters.
So, and all of this resulted in 7.9 billion in federal, state, and local tax revenues.
What?
Now, the ironic part is, I was like, man, you generate 71 billion in the economy, and personally, you produce almost 8 billion for the United States. Like, who funds NASA?
I'm so mad.
Any idea?
Because the oil industry is demonized for this. Oh my God.
The federal government?
Yeah, you, me, and Congress. Congress funds them. So I was like, wait, if you generate revenue, does it matter what your budget is? Like, they're pointing out how much they make, but they're not pointing out how much they spent. Their budget is 22 billion annually.
Shut up.
So they budget 20
does it cheaper.
That's right. SpaceX is one of the contractors that works for NASA. Now, ironically, this 22 billion annually is drastically less than during the Cold War and the Apollo mission. So right now it's like 0.5% of the federal budget.
That is so much money.
Right? Have our viewers benefited from NASA over the years?
You're going to say yes, they have.
Yeah, sleep pillow. The Tempur-Pedic mattresses, baby.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one.
Isn't that originally created by NASA?
Hey, man, that's half this federal spending. I understand that that's not the entire of the spending, but did you just say a fucking pillow?
Yeah.
Memory foam.
Well, it's the concept. It's not just what NASA did this year, but the concept of, since NASA's inception, what things have they brought around? And so Steven's talking about products, right? They created products for the astronaut, and now you, me, and the listeners get to use those products, which I actually have a Tempur-Pedic mattress, and it's phenomenal.
I need to buy a new mattress, so I'm probably going to get a Tempur-Pedic.
This also came from a tab on NASA. And actually, before I cut you off, I don't know if Ryan and Angel, if you guys want to take a swing at how you think NASA benefited your life.
Ice cream.
Oh yeah, the air dried or the freeze dried.
They made interesting movies for like an hour and a half.
You know what? They probably made Dippin' Dots.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like Dippin' Dots.
It's not a good one. Anyone can make Dippin' Dots, Chris.
But no. But Angel, you're missing the point.
The federal spend.
But Angel, not anyone just made Dippin' Dots. NASA did. Or we'd like to think they did.
Damn it, I'm so pissed.
We'll need someone to fact check that for us. Maybe Matt can fact check that for us.
I'm gonna mute myself.
So if you go to that same NASA website, they say, because again, they're just tooting their own horn, they have benefited society with technology, innovation, culture, and inspiration, like patriotism, and also global challenges. I didn't quite understand what they meant by global challenges, but when I heard that, the first thing I thought of was the best speech of all time. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Ryan?
Gettysburg Address.
Cowboy Ryan. It is not Gettysburg Address.
I want to guess.
All right, take a guess.
I know the answer. That's why
I know Ryan. Right, you asked Ryan first.
All right. Well, no. I guess I know that Ryan's the one that reminds me of this best speech of all time. So I'll throw it out to all the Cowboys if anyone knows it.
Oh, I know it.
It's the speech from Independence Day.
Yes, it is.
No, I thought it was Jeff Bezos' laugh.
Nope. So global challenges, great one. So CoinOpians out there, if you have not seen the speech from the first Independence Day, you should go ahead and watch that right now. It's fantastic. It's about 3 minutes. All right, the publicity. So NASA wanted some publicity to create interest in hopes of getting additional funding opportunities. So how would you interest society to get more publicity in the 1980s?
Jackson, The moonwalk.
Really struggling with that word there.
I am. I kind of don't want to say it anymore.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, not necessarily. Again, they want to do something to get more people interested in NASA stuff. How would they do that?
Ooh, Lunar Lander, the video game.
Okay.
Fly to the moon.
That would be it too. The two that I'm looking at is in 1980s. They wanted to reach out to a crowd that a lot of people were missing. Elementary school children and high school children, student aged children. So what they did is they marketed to all of them, and they marketed to all their teachers, and they said, we're going to have a special program. We're going to have a mission, and we're going to take one high school social studies teacher and make them an astronaut just to get in this mission.
That's so annoying.
Blow her up.
So you had like all these teachers apply all over the country, and they selected one. And she came, did some training, and then she's going up in the rocket to be an additional civilian on the astronaut mission. They also word it was this came out kind of afterwards, but they wanted to get Big Bird on the mission as well because they thought that would also drum up some popularity. All right, so now we're getting into what I'm really going to be talking about tonight is the Challenger rocket mission. It's actually the Challenger shuttle that was attached to rockets. So the Challenger had 2-cylinder rocket boosters attached to it. Now, the way that you put these rocket boosters together is they're kind of long cylinders and they're filled with fuel, and they're the two that launch, and when you get into orbit, those two detach, and then the space shuttle can do its own thing. So, and visualize this rocket is 2 soda cans. And if you cut out the top of one and the bottom of the other, and you put like a rubber gasket or a rubber O-ring between those two, and you pushed them together, and you filled it with soda, that rubber gasket's probably going to prevent the soda from coming out. Does that make sense? Now, let's say you have that same situation, but you start bending the 2 cans almost away from each other. Is it still going to be a solid seal?
No, because you're compromising the seal itself. It depends if the seal itself is flexible.
That's a great point. So on most O-rings, if that situation was happening, one side's getting overly compressed and the other side is stretching. And if the other side is stretching, you have a gasket if it's not meant to stretch that far, it's going to create a leak. So let's see here. NASA had that same situation because the way they built their rockets is they had multiple cylinders put together and they filled it with fuel. So when that rocket took off, if there was any flexing, you're going to have super hot rocket fuel squirting out the side, which would be bad, right? So they pointed out, they said, hey, this is going to be an issue. You guys should fix it. NASA came up with a solution. How do you think NASA fixed that O-ring flexing issue?
Firing the guy who brought it up.
Done.
They talked to Trojan.
They what?
Talks to Trojan.
What is that?
Trojan condoms.
Oh, Trojan condoms? Yeah, Magnum. Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah.
Their solution was, we're going to put 2 O-rings at that location.
I'm so annoyed.
Right? So it's like it's a primary and a secondary, right? So if the primary fails, you have a secondary in there. Now, question for you guys. Has any of you guys ever been skydiving?
No, absolutely not.
No, sir, Bob.
Would you?
No, that's fucking nuts.
No, sir, Bob.
Yes.
You would? Of course you would.
So my wife has gone skydiving before I met her. I probably wouldn't go skydiving. I don't feel the need for it. But see, in skydiving, there's 2 important pieces of equipment that you have. You have your parachute pack, and in your parachute, you have a primary parachute and you have a secondary parachute, right? Secondary parachute is in case something goes wrong with the primary, right? Now, let's say this. Let's say if when you pull that primary chute, it flies away because it was never connected in the first place. And let's say you jumped out of the plane 10 times, and every time you did that, you pulled the first primary, it flew away naturally, and then you went ahead and did your secondary one. In that situation, is your backup parachute truly a backup parachute?
No.
It's not.
What?
So
it is the backup.
But if your first parachute was intentionally never connected,
Wait, why would it be never intentionally connected?
It's the analogy that I'm drawing. So what happens on this rocket is as they were building it, when they would test it, it would flex and the first O-ring would blow right away. Like right away it would blow, and then they would utilize the second. So they did that multiple times and they said, hey, that's okay. And the point that I was trying to make was if your primary gets disintegrated right away and the secondary goes in there, do you truly have a backup O-ring in that situation?
No, you need to relook at what you call an O-ring. Just make a new O-ring.
Right? Or a better O-ring, or fix the problem, yeah. Right? Now, Steven, have you ever heard of this on the construction site? They go, hey, Steven comes up, he says, oh, that's going to take 6 weeks to do. And they say, okay, well, I need you to do it in 3 weeks. Or actually, I need you to do it in 2 weeks. And you're like, well, I mean, we can, but is overtime a primary means in the construction industry, or is overtime a backup plan in the construction industry?
Depending on the project.
How about on your projects?
It's a backup on ours.
Right. So if a project started and they said this project, we're just going to assume we're just going to do overtime the whole time, then your overtime is not a backup plan. That means that would mean that they're purposefully going in with a schedule they know is wrong. Right.
Right.
So in this situation, they said, hey, I'm going to create a backup O-ring. But if that first one blows right away, I think you're putting a Band-Aid on the problem. The original problem is you should address why your first is blowing, and you should have a proper backup. They interviewed.
You keep saying like thrusting and blowing and all these words. I'm super horny.
I'm just getting horny.
They interviewed an astronaut, John Glenn, and he said, they said, hey, John, when you're sitting in that space shuttle, listening to the countdown, how do you feel? He says, well, the answer to that is a very easy one. I felt exactly how you would feel if you were getting ready to launch and knew that you were sitting on top of 2 million parts, all built by the lowest bidder.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Right? That's how government contracts work.
That's the way it goes. Yeah.
Imagine being the guy to fly into space on something that you know was built by the lowest bidder, because that's how you get public contract jobs.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to roll on to the time rolling up to the Challenger launch. So, do you guys think rockets should take weather into consideration?
Yes,
of course they should.
Okay. Give me an example. Like, what would be the weather? Why would you be concerned about it? Where would be your limits? Go for it.
High wind.
High wind, bad.
If there's a hurricane going on, the amount of fuel you would expect to reach the atmosphere would be considerably more than compared to clear skies.
Okay.
So
why are you yelling? Oh my God.
Hey, shut the because I can't hear Ryan, and I need to balance the bullshit out.
Okay, so we got high wind and hurricane wind. Does that cover all? You guys are good with those weather items? Rain. Okay. What about rain?
It's gonna make things slick, like a heavy rain.
Okay, heavy rain. Okay, heavy rain, like an inch, a little bit of rain, a lot of rain, something like that.
An inch an hour.
Inch an hour, like I'm in a tropical, like South American country where it's just downpour rain. Got it. Heavy rain, bad. Okay. Anything else? Would you say that covers all the weather anomalies you need to be concerned about? So that all makes sense. So, would you say in a shuttle launch example, would you say you would want it to be hotter or colder or just right? Is there a limit?
I would like it to be hotter.
Hot, good. How hot?
So hot, dude. Talking
would you have a max and minimum?
I don't have the specs on me, bro. But yes, I would rather it be hotter than cooler, so that we don't need that to build. What is that? Breaking that energy barrier to ignite the fuel. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about.
Okay. All right. No. All right. Sounds good. Okay. So hot's good and cold we're not worried about. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cold. Okay. Okay. Do you guys know where NASA launches their rockets from?
Ooh, Florida.
That's right.
Cape Cod.
Okay, so now that we know they're
Fort Lauderdale. Florida.
Cape Canaveral, Florida.
Cape
Yeah.
Canaveral.
So now that we know we're launching in Florida, do we need to be worried about the high wind probability or situation?
Yes, hurricanes.
Okay, hurricane. We're still going to be worried about hurricanes. Got it. What about heavy rain? Are we going to be worried about that in Florida?
Yes, hurricane.
Okay. Heavy rain. Got it. Okay. Temperature. So being too hot. Do we see too hot being an issue in Florida?
Yes.
Why? Why is being too hot a problem?
Yeah. Ryan?
I don't think it could get hot enough to affect.
That evaporates the fuel.
What are you talking about? There's not gasoline. It's jet fuel. I actually don't know what goes into that fuel. What is the fuel comprising? I got to Google this now.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out. So it sounds like too hot we're okay with. So we're gonna cross that one off list. And then cold. Was there any cold concern?
Yes, the fuel will freeze.
Oh my God! It uses liquid hydrogen.
Okay, so Ryan doesn't want it to be too cold. Got it. But
Yeah, I don't like too cold.
But does it get too cold in Florida?
No.
What's the coldest it gets in Florida?
I don't know, probably during a hurricane.
80.
Well, but with that example, Steven, during a hurricane, how cold do you think it's going to get?
80.
75.
75. 75 cold limit. All right, cool. Okay, so the night before the Challenger launch, it was 18 degrees Fahrenheit in Florida.
That's cold.
It gets that cold?
And the reason they knew it was 18 degrees Fahrenheit is because when they looked up, they saw all of these icicles on the space shuttle. Do you think icicles on the space shuttle is a bad thing?
Well, I don't know, because in space, of course, you're going to get a lot of icicles on it.
That's a good point. I mean, Ryan, when you were doing the conspiracy theory about landing on the moon, none of them were worried about icicles, right?
Yeah.
That's true. It's fake.
All right. So then in 1985, is when NASA was doing some other preliminary tests, they found that their O-rings had erosion and damage in 62-degree weather. Knowing that, do you think 18-degree weather on a rubber gasket would be an issue?
Absolutely.
But it doesn't get 18 degrees in Florida.
Wait. Okay, so you're talking corrosion. Are you talking the corrosion? Oh no, that's rubber. That means it becomes brittle, right?
Yeah. They use the word erosion. So just your rubber got roughed up.
Got roughed. Okay.
Okay. So
when I think corrosion, I think something else. Sulfur.
So we're leading up to the launch. The launch had already been postponed 3 times and scrubbed once, which has caused a year delay. Steven, have you ever had a year delay issue at work?
Yep.
Talk to us about it. Was it bad? Was it okay? Were you able to deal with it? Were there consequences?
Delay. Yeah, there's consequences, costs.
Whose cost?
Shit goes up every year. My costs go up every year. My contract stays stagnant.
Okay, so if you're the guy that provides the upholstery for the space shuttle seats, and if the project gets delayed a year, that's not your fault, you're going to inadvertently have cost issues that you have to bear.
Yep.
What about retention? Would it delay your retention?
I don't know. Retention is just money they hold. Have I done anything yet?
Yeah, you'd probably do a little bit. Well, yeah.
Your retention for other subcontractors waiting for this fucking project to finish would be.
Well, let's talk about it. The space shuttle was mostly built, so if you're the upholstery guy, you probably installed the seats, so your work's done. But the project got delayed a year, and they're not going to pay you your retention until they successfully launch it. So that means your profit is getting kicked a year down the road. That'd be a problem, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? Have you had any delay issues that have been catastrophic in the fire alarm business?
Yes, I have, Christopher.
Cool. Do you want to expound on that, or is that good?
Oh, it's always bad. It's always bad because then permits expire, and then you got to resubmit, and it takes a long time, and then people like Christopher get pissed off, saying, "Where's my fire final?" And they say, "Well, you delayed everything. It's your fault." And they says, "No, it's your fault." And everyone points the fingers, and nobody's happy with each other. So
and I completely agree with that. And no, everyone's pointing fingers and not happy with each other. But would you say all those people, as they're fighting, all they want is the delays to stop and this thing to just finish and go ahead and get on the road?
That's the ultimate goal, yes.
right? So would you say all these guys that were arguing over the delays of this launch, they were like, look, man, it's been a year. Let's just launch this stupid thing and get paid.
Just push the button.
Yeah, push the button. All right, so that engineer saw that ice. They got on a lead conference call, or they got on a conference call with NASA and the other engineers. And NASA said, hey, are we safe to launch? Or the engineer said, hey, I think it's too cold to launch. 18 degrees, I think it's too cold. And NASA said, okay, well, what is safe to launch? And NASA's like, well, we did a launch in 62 degrees. That worked. There was some erosion, but it worked. So they said, we're thinking it has to be at least 53 degrees. And he says, okay, well, I want you guys to take a minute just to make sure that your 53 degrees makes sense and that you're sticking with that. So they take a few minutes. They get back on the call. When they come back on the call, the VP of engineering is not there anymore. And now it's the VP of production gets on the call. He says, we assessed all the data and concluded we are okay to proceed with the launch as planned. No temperature requirement needed. NASA says, okay, cool. I just need that in writing. Now, would you guys take issue with that? Or does that sound off?
I would not get on that shuttle.
I'm of the opinion that NASA has a moral obligation to prove the shuttle is safe. However, they were putting it on the engineers that they had to prove it would fail. And that's not right. The next morning, NASA sends out a team to knock the ice off the rocket. Takes them an extra hour. At the moment of ignition, there are pictures of this little gray smoke. Do you guys see this gray smoke in this picture I'm showing? What do you think that is? You're muted, Ryan.
That's an O-ring cooking.
Probably, right? 73 seconds later, an explosion separated the shuttle from the rocket. Now, keep in mind that NASA wanted that public feed, right? They wanted to increase education and everything. So all or most of the schools in the nation got a free live satellite feed, and everyone, even if they were at work, were watching it. It was estimated that 17% of the U.S. population was watching this live, and then the Challenger shuttle exploded. Unfortunately, they found later that the cockpit was intact for the 3 minutes it took to fall from the sky into the ocean. See this right here, Ryan? Mm-hmm. That was the cockpit intact when it hit the water at 207 miles an hour. What do you think that means?
So they were alive.
They were most likely alive for the 3-minute fall down to earth as everything was going wrong. How terrible that must have been.
And they died when it hit the water?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep. They said they recovered the shuttle fuselage. They recovered the remains, and they were able to turn some remains over, but they're of the impression that everyone died on impact. Now, that same area where we saw that gray smoke come out, this is the picture. Ryan, you want to describe for the viewers what you're seeing here?
It looks like burnt wood with some white paint.
It kind of does. It's metal, but yeah. So the cause of the disaster. The cause of this disaster was the failure of the primary and secondary redundant O-ring seals in a joint in the shuttle's right solid rocket booster. The record low temperatures on the morning of the launch had stiffened the rubber O-rings, reducing their ability to seal the joints. What do you guys think about all this? Decisions were made. Is anyone at fault?
I'm sure there's somebody at fault. The engineers are going to get dragged through the mud on that. Well, I never actually heard the fallout of that, or like lawsuits or anything like that. Whatever happened?
Yeah. So the president at the time, I think it was Reagan. He formed a presidential commission to go down there and sort it out and figure out what was going on. And the engineer that pointed out that there was ice on there, and he said, "I think this is a bad idea." He came forward as a whistleblower and said, "I was on the call. I told him it was a bad idea. This other guy got on the call, said, don't worry about it. He was above my pay grade," and they went ahead and started. And I think he wrote a book about it. He ended up getting fired from that company, but he started the Whistleblower Protection Act and encouraged other people out there saying, hey, you have a moral responsibility for the safety of the public, and we should protect whistleblowers and things like that.
That's interesting you bring that up, Chris, because I remember that. I actually used that in a presentation years ago, and I remember watching a TikTok or an Instagram reel where a person interviewing Elon Musk brought up a critical question, and being the top of the organization, he was willing to listen and actually changed his plans in his first launch or second launch, whatever launch it was at SpaceX. But he actually listened to the person actually interviewing him. And I think that having the other person speak up was very brave. But I think it's a really toxic environment where upper people won't listen because of ego and pride.
No, it's just kind of discord with you guys on kind of what you think about all that. You know, I think I'm of what this whole segment showed me is one, I think in life you should always have a solid backup plan, and don't let your backup plan be the secondary parachute that was connected when the first one doesn't. You know, like you don't want to set yourself up for a position where like, oh, I got this backup plan, but it's I'm calling it a backup plan, but it's not really, or it's not one that's actually going to be catching me. Like let's take a car insurance deductible, for example. I remember at one time in my life, I saw an opportunity to have a $4,000 deductible on my car insurance. I was like, oh man, dude,
Your insurance would have been so cheap.
That was the thing. I was a broke college student. I said, man, dude, I can get this thing real cheap. I just got to get the deductible really high. And I was like, man, the chances of me like damaging something are like very, very few. So when my backup plan came to fruition and I got in a small fender bender, they just said, okay, well, pay your $4,000 deductible. And I said, well, I don't think it's $4,000 worth of damages. He's like, okay, well, you might not want to file a claim then. And he just left me out to dry. And I realized my backup plan was unrealistic at that point. And I think I screwed myself more over.
Yeah, I kind of did that, but not as a broke college student. I raised up my deductibles to like whatever I was comfortable with, and it like severely reduced my payment. But now everything's expensive again, and my like car insurance like tripled. So whatever.
Should be a better driver.
Never got in an accident.
We're talking about accidents. Well, what would have been the consequence of actually taking the time to test the system and delay the launch? What would be the big deal?
That's valid. I like that type of question that you're asking, Ryan. I don't know. It probably wouldn't have been too much, but I'm assuming, like I'm just thinking through how the situation panned out, and it was probably everyone saw that they were losing money and they were already delayed a year, and they're like, look, man, we're picking, how does that saying go? We're picking fly shit out of the pepper, something like that. We're looking at something that just seems so small.
Fly shit out of the pepper.
Yeah, that was my boss. My boss uses that all the time.
Out of the pepper.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's really obscure.
But it's like fly shit out of the pepper. It's so tight. Have you ever seen fly shit?
No.
Neither have I.
It's in the pepper.
What year did this thing blow up?
1986.
Oof. What year I was born? What was the month?
January 25th, 26th, 1986. And if you YouTube it, for all of our listeners out there, you can YouTube and you can watch the whole thing. You see it just launch, it's going, you see all of America excited, this is looking good, and then suddenly, boom, separate, you see the rockets fly in random locations, and then you just see it all falling apart in a lot of smoke, and you go, oh, dang, what just happened?
I want to see the explanation afterwards, like to children. The teachers are like, oh, they're just sleeping. You know, it's
yeah, change the channel.
Yeah, Chris, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really good message. I forgot about that story.
Yeah, it was when I was going to college. You had to take math classes and English classes and ancient Russian poetry classes and whatever. But I took an engineering ethics class, and we had a whole segment on the Challenger and talking about it, and understanding it, and saying, "Hey, it's the engineering field, I would say in general, they're pushing, and they said we feel a moral obligation that when we design stuff, we need like a roof load. You need to have what the roof load is going to be when it's all done. You need to account for people walking on there, and then you need to have a big safety factor, because if you don't do it right and it falls down, it could kill people." So in the engineering field, there's a lot of that. So they're really pushing on, hey man, if it doesn't look right, it doesn't matter if the money's on the line. You just pop up and say, I'm not agreeing with this, and I'm pointing out that there's a problem, and you guys need to deal with the fact that I just pointed out there's a problem.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Angel, are those wheat thins?
No,
They're
they
French
are
fries.
Sam's Club fries.
Oh, I thought you were eating McDonald's fries.
I fucking would, my fat ass, but no.
Think about that when you got your pinky up your butthole later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I diddle myself. Oh.
All right, Chris, how we doing?
Good.
All right, thank you very much, Chris, for your horrifying safety lecture, which I really enjoyed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking out with us, listening to our to this episode. We're going to go ahead and close it out. We're in the perfect order again. Of course, it's not going to mirror the intro order, but nonetheless, it's still perfect. And we're going to start with Chris.
Well, CoinOpians, I hope you enjoyed another great episode of the CoinOp Cowboys. Thanks for coming and sitting with us and listening to our roundtable stories. And thanks for the mail. Keep pitching it in. It gives us great content to work with. And look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.
All right, thank you, Chris. Next up, Steven.
Oh, okay, bye.
Okay, next up, Ryan.
Well, CoinOpians is the last one. And this is the last show over here for me because you guys didn't care about my nipple. Remember that when I'm missing in future episodes. Goodbye.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. All right, with that, we're out.